Arboretum Ventures, I founded almost, 19 years ago now, really based on the fact that I believed through innovation, we should be able to drive healthcare costs out of the system, out of the healthcare system, but still provide great clinical care. So the entire mission of Arboretum Ventures is to invest in healthcare companies, and we do it across a wide spectrum of healthcare, really pretty much everything. Roughly half of what we've invested in are medical devices, diagnostics, and a little bit into the pharma space. And then the other half I would call the non-regulated side of healthcare, but healthcare IT, tech-enabled services, and companies that I call pharma adjacencies that are really novel and very cool, don't have the same risk as a pharma company, but have the same kinds of outcomes. Well, because we only invest in healthcare, I would make sure that if you're a company that's in developing something that's in healthcare, that you really target venture funds that are interested in that. We try and be really descriptive in what we're looking for. And it's, I think, very helpful if an entrepreneur has a way of making or getting a warm introduction to us. That will often come through other venture funds, through entrepreneurs we've invested in. More recent companies would be Pneumatics, which is a molecular diagnostic company that was founded by Jeff Williams, and Sandhu Brahmasandra was the president. And Jeff and Sandhu with Pneumatics basically created one of the world's best molecular diagnostic companies. And as you can imagine, in our life of COVID right now, they developed very quickly, in roughly a 3-week period, a test for COVID-19 that they were able to get EUA approval from the FDA. And then the last company I'll highlight is a company called Delphinus, which actually the state of Michigan is a co-investor with us in. And Delphinus has figured out a new way of doing breast imaging instead of a mammogram. So these are in particular for women that have what are called dense breasts, and about 50% of the population is classified that way. The problem with mammograms is that you get x-rays when you go in to do it, and you have to do it on a yearly basis. It's just the normal protocol. And what Delphinus has been able to figure out is a novel way of doing this in a very safe and comfortable way of doing what's called ultrasound. So it's using sound waves to get an image of the breast, but the image is as good as if you had done an MRI. So it's even a better quality image than what you get with x-rays in mammography. Biggest reason, honestly, is when we look back at our successful companies, of which we have now had 13 large exits out of our 55 companies. And when you look at those, there are 4 or 5 of them that have been a mile from our office. Okay, so they are, there are incredible entrepreneurs in this state. Healthcare is unique, but it absolutely does help to be able to go into international markets. Often our experience is that it's a little bit easier to get regulatory approval in the international markets and to start selling more quickly there. And so what we sort of a playbook, if you will, that we often have is that we will launch in Europe with a product and start selling it there and having some revenues that we can then use, if you will, to offset the large US clinical trial that we're having to run at the same time. It really depends on the product and how easy it is to set up a sales organization abroad.